Welcome back to our Broker Wellbeing video series, and I'm joined again by Chris Moon, inspirational speaker. This time we're going to be talking about how you can help others, how you can be aware of how other people are feeling and what steps it's appropriate to take. So Chris, we might often think about the danger or the risk of overstepping the mark or saying the wrong thing, and as a consequence probably end up doing nothing. What thoughts or tips would you have in how we might go about framing that type of conversation?
I think be direct, honest and respectful.
Just help us unpack that a little bit more and in how that you might recognise that in someone, and then also how you might just start that conversation, because I think it's the starting bit that lots of people will find difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. And by direct, I don't mean doing this in front of other people. It is about being sympathetic and getting the time right and recognising that most people are not going to open up if there are other people around. So it's about how you've got a conversation at the right time and in the right place. Honesty and intent are really important. And I think communicating genuine concern, and if it's coming from a place of actually we really do want to help and create this culture of interdependence, people's intent usually comes through. So I think, and on honesty, well, generally speaking in these issues, in my experience and the outcomes of my workshops are that actually it is the best policy. Deal with it and it stops being so difficult.
From this year's research, 54% agree that attitudes towards mental well-being have improved in the last 12 months. Mm-hmm. Would you recognise that from work you've done elsewhere? And in what, it's easy to say it's improved, but in what way have you seen that improvement?
I am seeing this now in the workshops that I run, that people are actually saying we need to talk about mental health and well-being, because actually the statistics are quite interesting of why people sometimes get moved out of employment, and a lot of it is usually because they're having a major life event like relationship problems or an illness. So this is something we need to understand, and people quite often want to help but don't know what to do. So I think it comes back to, let's have an honest, kind conversation. What can we do to help you right now? And then I think it's about coming back to helping people to be the hero of their own story. It's about getting them to recognise that the way we feel is determined by the way we think. There may be practical things that we can do to help people. I'm a great believer in the power of gratitude. When we're thankful, when we're truly thankful for something, our bodies produce endorphins. So a great technique, if someone's having a tough time, is to help them recognise all the things they have to be thankful for. So I don't bother about losing my right arm and leg, because I choose to be thankful for my left arm, my left leg and my eyes, and the fact that I've got an artificial leg that fits me, that I can run on. I have so much to be thankful for. So the power of gratitude is immense. There's another thing that might help people. So if people are having a really challenging time, I would say write down 3 things at the end of the day that you have to be thankful for. Write down 3 positive things about that. And if we feel calm or anxious, the same principle of 3 works. Think of 3 experiences in the past you've had where you felt safe. And that can be like a mental refuge. Think of 3 things you've achieved that made you feel proud. And when you thought, well, I've done that, that was good. Think of 3 smells that are calming, that you love. So for me, that would be the smell of fresh cut lawn mowings, the smell of honeysuckle, and the smell of roses. Those are things that I find calm me in a split second, so you can change your state. So you come out of the anxious, pressurized state. There are so many of these kinds of techniques, and of course different people can use them in different ways.
And I think we've got growing examples of employers providing their staff with more measures and more support mechanisms. Some of the things that have been flagged back to us range from the stuff you'd probably expect, so stress guidance and confidential helplines and the stuff that's been around for a reasonable length of time, all the way through to employers organising staff yoga sessions. And I thought, what have perhaps been some of those more unusual things that you might have seen?
there was some research done with the company that I work with into who the happiest people in the company were and who had the healthiest mental well-being culture. And it was actually the smokers, because they went outside and had a chat and they mingled, and a bit of tribal mingling and identification is really good for us. So it was slightly unfortunate. It was the most unhealthy physical habit, you might argue, but it was certainly the healthiest mental. And then after that they did chat rooms, so people could just go in and get a coffee and literally chat for 5 minutes and go back. Getting that break, it was a great reliever.
Thanks, Chris. That's really interesting. And thank you for watching this video. We hope you found it really useful. And don't forget to watch the others in this series.